celebration of apple blossoms, we thought it would make sense to talk to the stewards of the apple blossoms themselves. Today we talked to Diane Kearns, who carries on 5 generations of an apple growing legacy. And that is the point.
This is a Rome tree, and what happens is you see the blooms are sort of in clusters, and the one in the middle is what they call the king bloom. And it opens first, and then the ones around it will open. So the idea is that you want the bees in the orchard as soon as there's any chance for pollination. So you want them in right prior to when those guys, the king ones, pop open.
Start with the legacy of your family and how you ended up being an orchardist as well.
We started out the actual Fruit Hill orchard, which is, it came about 1929 or so, with 100 acres, which started right here, including the house where I live in over there. And then my dad took it over in '59 when he got out of school and continued to grow it. And so then here I am. I took physics in college, but gosh, I really love anthropology too, because that was so much fun and so different. So I doubled in physics and anthropology and got a master's in physics, but after getting the master's, life sort of took several right angle turns, and I ended up back here.
What kind of apples do you raise, and where do they end up?
We grow solely processing fruit, and processing fruit is the stuff that ends up in apple juice and apple sauce or apple slices, as opposed to the whole apples that you buy in the grocery store.
There are major challenges that you're facing as a farmer, as an apple farmer and an apple farmer in Virginia.
Wow. The whole scenario has changed significantly in the last 20 years. The biggest issues for us right now are, well, labor is the big one. Everything is still harvested by hand. We, a while back, 20 years ago, tried the mechanical means. Didn't work very well. So everything is picked by hand, and that requires labor. And a lot of the American workforce, that doesn't seem to be their cup of tea. So finding folks to do that and then finding them in a way that it fits into what economically makes sense for us has been very difficult. What we're receiving for our product is not significantly different than it was, 15, 20 years ago. And everybody can guess what costs of everything have done. And, and the last little bump in the fuel prices has just been once again, you're going,
what does the future look like?
We really don't want to sell anything, and we probably won't flat out sell too much. But that's not to say you might not flip a property or two to try to make ends meet while you're trying to figure out what the next profit center is going to be. We're doing some corn and some soybeans and some wheat. Timber management is another thing. There's a possible demand for pasturing your horses or something like that. No one is in it for the economic gain. They got out a long time ago. And you're in it because you really love it. I mean, like, you look around, look, those trees are in bloom, and it's really cool to stand here and look down and see this. And then at the end, when harvest comes, to pick the fruit off and, be able to say, wow, look, isn't this great? The harvest is in, and then winter comes. It's a good way of life. And you're in it because you love that.
There you go. Apples are my life. I grew up on the farm, thinning apples. That's how I know what apples are about.
And what's your favorite kind of apple?
That is a tough question. It's actually evolving. I'm going to give you my used-to-be favorite, and that was a stamen. It wasn't sickly sweet, and it was firm and is a good keeper. And then my favorite evolved into a Fuji. Now I'm giving up on the Fuji, and I'm moving over to Pink Lady, which is back to more of a tart apple. Not quite as tart as a stamen. I actually think Virginia may be one of the best places to grow a Pink Lady. The well-drained limestone soils give you a wonderful tasting apple. A much different taste than what you get out of Washington State, which is a little bit bland, kind of like cardboard.
Oh, slam!
Here somewhere is a winter banana.
Winter banana.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
We have those in our orchards right here in Frederick County. Winter banana happens to be a great pollinator. Okay. The bees like it. It originated in 1876, and it was found on David Flory's farm in Indiana. It's a bright pale yellow and often gets a blush, has numerous dots on it. It looks like a banana. It's not a good commercial seller. Leafing through the plates, you can understand why one of the apples was named very appropriately for where most apple growers end up in the long run.
Which is?
Which is not Athens, Georgia.
Oh. Oh.
But definitely the poorhouse. A Rome makes a fabulous pie. Good flavor, brown sugar in a Rome. Oh, you can even cook them in a microwave.
The Gala.
Yep. The Gala is a wonderful mix of flavors. It really is.
Yeah. It's clean, too.
Mm-hmm. I don't like Macintosh, so I'm not going to eat that one. I love Golden Delicious. Much more
Good
intense
bouquet.
flavor. Ah, there you go.
Nice legs.
There are a lot of other varieties to choose from right now, but I can tell you the properly picked and matured Red Delicious is still a fantastic eating apple.
Granny Smith.
The Granny,
Of
yeah.
course.
Now you need to like a tart apple to like a Granny Smith.
And I do. Da, 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 da.
Here we go. We are supplying pink ladies for some of the celebrities at the Apple Blossom Festival this year.
Ah.
They're delicious.